Premiership Guide, Exeter seek revenge on Harlequins as Gloucester hunt rare away win against Sarace Friday Bristol Bears v Sale Sharks TV, 7:45 p.m. BT Sport 1. After achieving their first 5-point win of the season, Sale will be pleased to see Bristol. The Sharks are winless in their past 7 away games, but have beaten the Bears in 9 of their past 12 meetings. In fact, Sale enjoy their highest away win rate in the Premiership against Bristol. So the signs are promising for the visitors, but who on earth knows when it comes to Bristol at present. They were played off the park for almost the entire match against Exeter Chiefs, and their willingness to settle for a losing bonus point rather than go for the win at Sandy Park tells you all you need to know. But there were encouraging signs. They tackled well and looked dangerous when in possession, with Mesmeric playing a huge part in that. The Fijian rock star is the only player to have tallied 10 or more carries in each of Bristol's past 3 games, and has recorded the most carry meters of any Bears player since his return to Premiership action. Just thinking about Jono Ross, the Sale captain with the most dominant tackles in the league this season, trying to haul down Radradra is mouth-watering. But that doesn't just apply for these two blokes. Bristol and Sale are the top 2 teams for dominant tackles in the Premiership. But away from the grunt, Sale have a wizard who is getting a viewing of his new living quarters for next season. AJ McGinty was superb, as per usual, against Wasps, while Bevan Rod and the Dupree's brothers were titanic too. 10 points off the playoffs, but with a game in hand, Sale know the time to crack on is now. After 4 consecutive league defeats, Bristol will just hope they get to crack a smile. And a word for Wayne Barnes, who will take charge of his 250th Premiership game for this fixture after Bath v London Irish was postponed. Saturday, Harlequins v Exeter Chiefs TV, 3 p.m. BT Sport 2. My oh my, how a fixture can change from one season to the next. Twickenham Stoop raised the curtain last season as then defending champions Exeter ran riot, winning 33-3 thanks to a hat-trick from Sam Simon. Now, this is a revenge mission 196 days in the making for the Chiefs. The visitors have not been the same since they were stunned by Harlequins in the final. They have seemed to lack motivation, confidence and come into this game chasing the top 4. Rather than being at the head of the table. That is almost entirely down to Quinn. The champions were forced to resort to the tough stuff at King's home, but came away with the victory after completely dominating the second half. We associate Quins with fluid, chaotic, attacking rugby, but they managed their field position tremendously, gobbled up turnovers and spent so much time in the Gloucester 22 that they should be required to pay rent. Andre Esterwijzen was awesome, Luke Northmore deserves more praise, but Danny Kerr is on another level. Le Petit General is 35 but seems to be in his prime and is so influential in this team. He will need to conjure up that same magic against a ticked-off Chiefs, who similarly dominated in their win against Bristol. In front of a record crowd, Stuart Hogg was mesmeric, a booze-free Jack Noel was back to his best, Dave Ewers was his usual indomitable self and Tom O'Flaherty finished off a wonder try that did not fit the lazy narrative that Chiefs only score boring tries. And yet, they could have lost. They should have been out of sight a long way before Bristol's intercept score, and Exeter cannot afford any loose bits of play at the Stoop. Quins will punish them. The scrum has been a struggle at times, and Exeter need to stop being the architects of their own downfall. Newcastle Falcons v Northampton Saints, 3 p.m. Puff out your cheeks and shrug your shoulders, and that's probably how both of these teams feel right now. Newcastle's early season promise is dead, but their travel sickness is alive. Joel Hodgson's fumble last weekend summed up Newcastle's day in Leicester, when they failed to register a point. Hodgson wasn't alone in having a bad day at the office, with Mike Brown enduring a wretched outing, and Dean Richards believes that his side are rusty. Well, they will be hoping that they have removed sufficient rust to extend their healthy home record. Newcastle are unbeaten in their past 5 games in all competitions at Kingston Park, and they have won 7 of their past 8 league encounters against Northampton. Like today's hosts, Saints do not tend to travel well either. They have won only 2 of their past 7 away matches, yet 2021 contains 7 triumphs on the road for Northampton, their highest return for 7 years. Chris Boyd, the director of rugby at Saints, will be confident of taking the first step towards bettering that record in 2022 if they can improve on their first half performance against Saracens by just a tickle. But at Franklin's Gardens, Northampton could not convert their territory from their fine kicking game into points, and Saracens took over after the break. Boyd was angry with the officials, believing that they did not have the nuts to punish the away team. He will be hoping that his own players have the cojones to go to Newcastle and win. Saracens v Gloucester, 3 p.m. First things first, get well soon Jackson Ray. The Saracen stalwarts suffered a fractured skull in the win against Northampton Saints, which may be the last time we see him for some time. On the field, Saracens did Saracens things, weathering the Saint storm before pulling away in the second half with a variety of tries. Maro Itoje was a giant. Alex Good must be an absolute delight to have as a teammate, while Alex Lozowski has come back from Montpellier as a rounded talent. His form with the boot is superb, but he is also a very underrated tackler, no matter how big the opponent. Whether at number 10 or the center, Lozowski has been one of Saracen's star performers this season, and while his snub by Eddie Jones may confuse some England fans, it will quietly please the Sarri supporters, as will their home record against Gloucester. The West Country club have not won in North London for 14 years, and Saracens have been beaten only once in their past 15 matches at StoneX Stadium. But this iteration of Gloucester could do it. They are undefeated in the league in their past 4 on the road, their longest sequence in almost 16 years, and are contenders for the playoff. They did, however, have a tough afternoon against Harlequins, who confined them into their own 22 for practically the entirety of the second half. On the flip side, Gloucester put in an amazing defensive effort against the champions, and also showed that their forwards can play ball. Val Rapavaruskin finished off a glorious move that was then disallowed, as well as maul hard. And what a freak Rowan Ackerman is. That man's try had more power than Vladimir Putin. Power will be the theme of the day here. Lewis Ludlow and Freddie Clark rank first and second respectively for season tackles, helping Gloucester to average the most tackles per match, while Saracens are second. Expect plenty of flash, crash and smash in the capital. Sunday, Bath v Worcester Warriors, 3 p.m. Surely this is it. With all due respect to the Warriors, Worcester at home is pretty much a banker for every Premiership club. If Bath do not win this weekend, then how real a possibility is it that they go an entire season without victory? Bath fans will have been waiting 211 days for a Premiership triumph, and the players trot out at the Rec, a time period that was extended due to Monday's match at London Irish being cancelled due to COVID. The June win against Northampton seems so long ago that you could be forgiven for thinking that it was broadcast in black and white, but at least the stats are positive for Bath prior to Worcester's visit. Bath have won 7 of the previous 8 Premiership meetings against the Warriors, who were winless away from home in 2021 and have never won at the Rec. But I guess records are made to be broken. Worcester are also refreshed going into this fixture due to a bye week in the past round in the wake of their hammering at Saracen. But despite shipping 9 tries to Sarries, Worcester scored 5 themselves to take a bonus point back to 6 ways, which they probably would have accepted if offered before the match. It was also encouraging to see young players such as Finn Smith and Ted Hill perform as they did at StoneX Stadium. Worcester played some entertaining rugby, and the likes of Duhan van der Merwe, Jamie Shilcock and pals will be relishing getting stuck into Bath's woeful defense. As things stand, Bath have more COVID cases than point. This is a massive game. Longest winning sequences at home against a single opponent: 15 games Saracens v Sale 15, Bath v Worcester 14, Gloucester v Harlequins 14, Harlequins v Newcastle 13, Gloucester v Newcastle 13, Wasps v Bristol 13, Wasps v Leicester. Wasps v Leicester Tigers 3 p.m. TV, BT Sport 2. You've heard the saying, the worst is still to come. Well, for Wasps, it has just arrived. Leicester completed the double over Wasps last season and head to Coventry 11 from 11 after breezing past Newcastle. At Welford Road last weekend, the mise-en scene was contemporary Tigers, packed stands, George Ford being George Ford, and a bonus point win. Is there a club with a better pair of hookers than Leicester's Julian Montoya and Nick Dolly? And while we're fawning, yours truly has a lot of love for George Martin, who, along with Freddie Stewart, could have a big World Cup for England. But in the meantime, Leicester are already 18 points clear of 5th in the race for the playoffs, and 12 off 3rd in the scrap for a home semi-final, which is a long way from what Wasps are. Lee Blackett's side gifted Sale their first bonus point victory of the term last weekend, and were far from their best. We all love their controlled frenzy in attack, but Blackett will be furious with how Wasps crumbled, conceding 2 tries in 4 minutes in the first half before handing Tom Curry a try straight from their own lineout after the break. Nonetheless, they are desperate for their stars to be fit again, and Joe Launchbury, Dan Robson and Malachi Fekitoa are due to return before February. The tide has turned in this fixture's history. Wasps used to be top dogs, but Leicester have won 4 of the past 5, having lost 6 of the previous 7. Last week, Wasps could not live with Sale's power. Given Leicester's monstrous strength, they may be killed again. Premier 15's news by Jessica Hayden. The Premier 15's is back after a short festive break, but there was still one big fixture on December 27th, when Harlequins welcomed Wasps to Twickenham as part of their Big Game 13 fixture. It was the first Premier 15s match at Twickenham and was attended by a record-breaking crowd of 9,000 fans. The first half was a close-fought battle, Harlequins edging Wasps 7-5 at the break, but the defending Premier 15s champions pulled away in the second half and ended the day 29-5 ahead to close 2021's Women's Rugby Diary. At the start of the new year, Bristol Bears remain top of the table, joined in the top 4 by Harlequins, Saracens and Exeter Chiefs. Round 10 begins in the West Country as Gloucester Hartpury, with World Rugby's Women's Player of the Year Zoe Aldcroft in their ranks, travel to Shaftesbury Park to play Dave Ward's Bristol. Two of this weekend's fixtures, Harlequins v Worcester Warriors and Wasps v Loughborough Lightning, have been postponed due to COVID-19 cases, and are subject to a ruling of the Disputes Committee. It has not yet been decided when the games will be played, but there are 6 upcoming reserve weeks scheduled to prevent the season being affected by COVID. Fixtures. Saturday, Bristol Bears v Gloucester Hartpury, kickoff 12:30, live on BBC Sport website, app and iPlayer. Sale Sharks v Exeter Chiefs, 2 p.m. Sunday,